Hi, this is John Reinhardt here, and welcome to the John Reinhardt Real Estate Channel. Today we're going to be speaking about working virtually and the top things that agents need to work virtually. We're going to have a little discussion as to the exact tools, how we use them, and then after that we're going to take a deep dive into some actual examples of what some companies are doing today to run their virtual real estate brokerage operation. So stay tuned, I'll be right back. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about working virtually. So a lot has changed since this COVID-19 has hit us. It's been a very challenging time for us, and it's forced a lot of us to work virtually. And in doing that, we've discovered that it's a whole new world out there. And many people are finding out that the way to do things going forward will be from lessons learned by doing things virtually. So there's a new day rising. Some of the lessons that we've learned from COVID-19 is that things can be done better and more efficiently by doing them virtually. We were forced to do it, but we discovered that, you know what, it's not so bad once you learn how to do it, and it is actually more efficient and more effective and a better experience for all involved. So watch as the world transitions to a more virtual world than ever before. To be a real estate agent today, there are a few things that we must absolutely have in our tool chest, and things that we need to be familiar with and aware of how to use them. Today we'll be speaking about virtual consultations, virtual showings, how we can show homes virtually, online marketing, things that we've done in the past, but we're going to go in a little more detail as to what else we should do in this new environment that we're in. Digital signing, although many people are doing that already, there are still some of us out there that haven't even begun to do digital signing yet. We're going to show you why that's so important. And then I think most of all, it's going to be a can-do anything virtual mindset. I've changed my opinion as to what can be done virtually, and I'm not limited anymore as to what can be done and can't be done online. I think everything can be done online. Of course, there are certain things that we need to touch and feel. And in real estate, that's going to be looking at the house personally. Although some people don't need to do that, I have a feeling that most people still will need to do that. And that's okay. But for the meantime, let's show how we can do it virtually and then learn from that how you can still benefit going forward. I can imagine some people would want a virtual tour or a guided virtual tour or a virtual open house to narrow down their field of interest instead of going back out there in the streets and looking at all these homes personally. Once they narrow it down, then they'll go in and look at the homes that they want to see. Saves them a lot of time, a lot of effort, saves a little skin off the back of the sellers by having fewer people into the home and only those people that are interested to some extent that will go and show up at their doorsteps. So say, how can I work with the buyer remotely? You can. We used to sit down at our desk and interview them and say, what are you looking for? What type of home? How many bedrooms? How many baths? What is your motivation for buying? Why are you leaving where you are? Is it too small? Is it safety, security? Is it a prestige move? What is the motivation behind it? So find out those things that are really important factors to know as a real estate agent. And then you need to go over their qualifications. So are they able to buy a house? How much down? What kind of a mortgage are they looking to go for? What kind of income they have? How much can they actually afford? And at this time, you may also want to suggest that they meet with a loan officer and get pre-approved for a loan. This way, when that perfect home comes in, they'll have a little bit of more leverage to negotiate a price once they are pre-approved for a mortgage. So buyer consultations can be the basic ones, like I just mentioned, find out the basic information, and then even in more detail where you can go online and look at neighborhoods and see which neighborhoods fit their needs. Then you go into specific homes and look at those homes and see if those homes are something that they might be interested in. Give them an idea, an overview as to what their money could buy today. So that's the first step in the buyer consultation process. And invite them to virtual open houses and invite them to private virtual tour showings that are guided by yourself as an agent. It's great to go look at a virtual tour online, but it's a lot better to go with a guided tour that an agent is taking them through. It's just like going to see a house on your own as a buyer or going with an agent. Now, the agent is going to point out all the special features of the property and features of the location, and that can't be done by doing it on your own. So that's the value that we add, and that's the value that we hope to give to our buyers going forward. We're going to give them the same knowledge, only we're doing it now virtually. It seems like the easiest way for an agent to communicate with a buyer is via a Zoom meeting or a FaceTime. Those things seem to be the most popular ones right now, and they're pretty easy. Sometimes FaceTime would be great because the consumer probably is aware of that technology. And if not, then Zoom is becoming more and more popular every day. That's a great way to do it as well. Now you speak about sellers. How do you actually talk to a seller about listing their home virtually? When trying to get a listing, it's a little bit of a different challenge. And I've done it before, and I know that it is challenging. But here's how I've done it and what I would recommend doing as well. So before your meeting, your virtual meeting, I would drop off a pre-listing package. And in that pre-listing package, it's a beautifully presented piece that I create, and you can as well if you're not doing it already. And it has all the comparable sales, some photos of those other homes, what you like about those homes compared to the subject property, and come up with some sort of a marketing plan inside that pre-listing package on how you're going to market it online. Are you going to be doing virtual open houses? Whatever your marketing plan is, you go over that with the seller. And then you have a live Zoom meeting or FaceTime meeting. You go over the comparables one by one and talk about the nuances in your pre-listing package, and find out if you can come up with together a pricing and marketing strategy for their home. So that's how we talk to a seller virtually. But do your homework. Make sure you know what you're talking about. Just pick up the phone and call them and then send them the paperwork. It's more of a detailed face-to-face like this is, or a Zoom meeting, and that's much more beneficial for the sellers. So then, so the virtual consultation part is pretty much attainable for all agents at this stage of the game. All you have to do is go online and communicate with them. So don't use it as an excuse. I can't get to meet them in person. You can get to meet them at least virtually, seeing their face-to-face, through FaceTime or Zoom, and get the job done. The next stage of the process is virtual showings. How are you going to do that? And sometimes people wonder, is it at all possible? And I'm going to tell you that, you know what, it is. It's not easy, and I'd be lying if I said that it was. But there is a way to show properties. And the way that we've done it is virtually through Zoom meetings, FaceTime meetings, and allowing the consumer to look at the tours on their own. The first thing we need to do is obvious, is have a virtual tour on all of your properties. If you don't, you should get one right away. Order them from a professional. I use 3D Views. They do a great job. And if not that, then you can also have the seller do their own virtual tour. There's a free app at Zillow. You can download it. And with that app, you can take a virtual tour, or the seller could do it on their own and just walk through their house, and the tour will be uploaded, and you'll at least have something to show potential buyers. So therefore, you have virtual tours that are professionally done. So in order to do a virtual showing, you need to have a virtual tour. So either have it done professionally or have it done by your seller or by yourself if the house is vacant and you're allowed to do it. So understand that there are different rules in every state, different requirements. Make sure that you pay attention to those. The virtual tour is a must show. And if you don't have a virtual tour, you can still show properties. Say you're waiting for the virtual tour company to come in 3 days. You can still show the property by looking at a photo show. If there are many photos of the property, which you should have, then make sure that you just go through the house room by room and point out the details that are so important and that make all the difference in the world when you do show a house. You know, not like the old days. Oh, this is the living room. This is the kitchen. This is the bedroom. They could see that. But point out, in this kitchen, we have custom Italian imported cabinetry. The appliances are stainless steel, yada, 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 and we go into the specific nuances and details of the actual home. So we can do that if we have to with a photo slideshow. Not preferable, but it's possible. And the virtual open houses, if you can do that, that's awesome also. Some people are afraid of it. It's not a big deal. If you have the virtual tour, all you do is set up a Zoom meeting or a FaceTime again, and all you have to do is walk through the house with the buyer and point out those details and differences during a specific set time. Now, the good thing about this is it makes the seller happy. They feel that there's activity on the home, and it makes the buyer engaged because they see that there's an open house and another call to action, just some more activity. You're generating business. That's what we're doing. We're doing it differently and it's not widely adapted yet, but it will be one day soon. You know, what I usually do with my virtual open houses is I tell the buyers that if you attend this virtual open house, you will get notified and be on the priority waiting list to see this home before anybody else. And that usually, you know, goes over nicely with them. So the next thing is online marketing. You know, we've always done it. We have to continue to do that, but we need to turn it up a notch. On our online marketing, we put them on Zillow, we put them on Trulia, we put them on Street Easy, we put them on our local MLS. All of those things are crucial and still as important today as they ever were. But there are some more things that we need to do that makes this day and age different. And if we do them all virtually, it's fine. One of the things we need to do is property boost. If you haven't done it, you should do it. It advertises your property on Facebook, on every other social media that's out there, and that's what you need to do. You need to get the product out there to as many people as possible. So you do the property boost. That works. AdWorks is a type of company that does it. In my company, they have our KV Core automatically does it. You press a button and you can order a property boost, and that costs a couple bucks, but it's worth it. You get so many hits. And then what's also good about it is the seller gets a notification every day saying that 45 people looked at your property, and there are 5 leads that were given to the broker on your home, and the seller has been giving me some wonderful feedback on these type of property boosts. So it satisfies a couple different needs. Then, don't forget that you need to promote these listings on your sphere of influence. If you have a great following on Facebook, then, promote them there. If you have specific mailing lists, and if you don't, you need to get one soon, mailing lists of buyers that are looking in a specific neighborhood, then you need to send the listing to those buyers. If you're not doing that, that's another game that you could turn on and learn a little bit more about, is how to create a mailing list so that you can take advantage of that down the road. So this seems obvious to many agents, but you know what? The funny thing is, a lot of us haven't done it yet. It's time to get comfortable with this and try it out. It's time for us to actually go through the process, and this way, when you speak with the seller or a buyer, you feel comfortable in having them sign something. So please do that in this spare time. Get used to the digital signing. It's not going away. It's only getting stronger and stronger. Even after this pandemic is over, digital signing is going to be the way. It's already been that way in many marketplaces, but in our marketplace, it's picking up steam and it's not going anywhere. So if you're a Brooklyn MLS member, they just subscribe to AuthentiSign. Now, AuthentiSign is going to be a free member benefit, and you can get that right on the MLS site. There's a link to that. I just listed a property and had the seller sign everything via AuthentiSign, and it was a pretty easy process. It's cumbersome in the beginning because you're not used to it, just like everything else, but it does make sense, and it's a great thing to pick up and learn. So I suggest that everybody does that, and they do that quickly. Yes, is this virtual mindset. And when I left my traditional real estate brokerage and joined a virtual company, I was scared. I said, wow, what am I going to do? Can I do this all virtually? I can't go into an office and pick up an MLS form. There are certain things that I won't be able to do anymore. But, it's a little bit of pain, but there is a lot of gain. And you learn that it really can be done virtually. So my mindset now is that, anything can be done online. And I'm pushing my whole business that way, and I'm glad that I got involved a little bit before the coronavirus hit us, because I was already a little bit comfortable, not very, but a little bit comfortable with going all virtual, and it is the way to go. So the one thing that I'd like to talk to agents about specifically today is sharpening your sword. What does that mean? That's basically the 7 habits of highly effective people. And what they do is sharpen their saw or learn. Online education is just great. It's so much better than just in-person training that we've used to so many times in the past. Now, there's definitely an advantage to the in-person training. I love it. I still will continue to go to in-person classes. However, during this time and in the future, you're going to see the amount of training that's going to be done online is going to be spectacular. I believe that education online is better for a few different reasons. Number one, the talent of the trainers that are coming in to these online training classes are spectacular. They're the top in the country, and the cost to get them to give a training class is really not minimal, if anything. They don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to pay for travel. You don't have to pay for hotels, and it's real easy for people to do. So the online training world is better because you're learning from the best, and it's easier to do, and it can be done within hours. It's set up within hours. When it comes to training, your company probably has an online training program that they either have themselves or they subscribe to. If you can, I would suggest the take some time and learn as much as you can online. So the online training is either free or it's for a fee. So I suggest a combination of both of those things. You can learn so many different ways. Another way that I've learned a lot lately is through my Zoom meetings. I've had meetings with so many industry experts on so many different topics. I found that these discussions are invigorating, inspiring, and I've learned a lot from that. So you can learn from a training class, or you can also be part of a discussion group that is really bringing the ball forward as well. And in addition to those online discussion groups, I also suggest to use YouTube. Now, YouTube is the training of the next generation, and I believe that anything can be learned on YouTube. I've been using YouTube myself now to pick up my photography skills, and now, since COVID came in, to pick up some real estate techniques, to pick up how to broadcast on YouTube. All of these things can be learned on that channel, just doing a quick search. And then also, you should stay connected with your sphere of influence, with your friends, with your family, and stay connected virtually. So you may not be going to the bar and to the restaurant and having a cocktail with your friends. However, there are still ways that you should keep in touch and communicate with them. The old telephone, one ringy dingy, great. But also the Zoom meetings that are popping up all over the place. Impromptu. I had a steak dinner, scotch and steak dinner with a couple of the boys from around the country, and actually some in Canada. And we had a nice little steak dinner and just caught up and discuss the world and how everybody's doing. It's a great thing to do. I highly recommend doing things like that. There are bingo games all over the place. There are raffles that are going on. There's so many ways for you to connect with your friends and family in ways that we haven't done before. So this virtual way of connecting is also becoming more and more popular, not going away soon. The last part of this this virtual mindset that I believe is really to be a leader and have that leader mentality. Don't just say, oh, well, they're not doing it. I might as well sit back and not work today. I might as well wait till I can start showing properties again. I'm really out of business. It's a bad mindset. Be a leader. Do things differently. And when I started doing virtual open houses, did I know if they would work? No, I don't. I still don't know. I'm not 100% convinced. However, I'm doing something. I'm moving the wheels around, trying to create new ways to do things. And that's what makes you a leader in this world, just doing things differently. Getting out there and learning what other people are doing. And that's, at the end of the day, the opportunity that we face today. We face the opportunity of making a difference in our world and a difference in the lives of our buyers and our sellers. So take advantage of this time and, sharpen your skills, learn as much as you can, and then help people out that are challenged with this. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what's happening to their real estate values. Get out there and do what you always did, which was inform and advise, and just you're doing it differently now. You're doing it virtually. So thank you for joining me on this episode of Working Virtually. It really focused on the things that agents need to do and to know to work virtually. In my next episode in this series, we're going to be talking about the virtual brokerage, how real estate brokerages can transform themselves to working without an office. So we've spoken about how agents can do it. Now, if you're interested and want to take it to the next level, watch part 2 of this series, The Virtual Brokerage. And we'll show you how my brokerage does it. And we're going to show you exact examples and take a deep dive and a look under the hood on how you can transform your business to a more virtual brokerage today. Stay tuned. Talk to you soon. Thanks again. If I can ever help you, I'm here for you. Please subscribe. And if you like that video, please click the like button and ring the bell so you're notified for future videos. Thanks again. John Reinhardt signing off.